Yeah. Very good afternoon, everybody. I welcome you all to this EEE 4.0 Master Knowledge Series program. Friends, for the benefit of the members who are joining first, I would like to just explain you that, this EEE has been started, knowledge series has been started way back in 2017. And since 2021 to onwards, for improving the proficiency and expertise of our members, this webinars series has conducted more than 75 programs on different subjects, and would like continues to give knowledge updates on various aspects, including whether it is a core of the professional area or any other areas which are connected and relevant to our profession. Friends, this master knowledge series, the next phase of webinar is already started, and we have conducted 4 programs. This is the 5th program here we are conducting today. And friends, this is a more successful program. After this is, people are eagerly waiting for the Wednesday to have a new topic or new subject every time on this knowledge series program. Today, friends, we have now our own beloved member, Guru Prasad sir, who is also well known to many of the professionals. And he is a person who is having a lot of knowledge in the subject. And today he is going to share with us a lot of information about the knowledge about this subject, especially how and this subject is more relevant for us as company secretaries. Friends, today he is having 30 years plus years of experience, and he is by qualification is a company secretary and also chartered accountant, cost and management accountant, triple qualified person. He is also attained qualification from CMA USA, FIPA Australia, and FFA UK. Friends, he is vice president in a reputed family office based in Bangalore, company in Bangalore, and immediate past president of IMA USA Bangalore chapter 2019 and 21 till 21. And IMA celebrated 100 years in the year 2019. Friends, he is a recipient of prestigious global awards of IMA Champion Award in 2021. And in June 2021, he also conferred platinum level in leadership by IMA USA. And friends, he is having a regional membership ambassador in India of the Institute of Public Accountants, Australia, and member of the Regional Advisory Committee, India, of the Institute of Management Accountants, USA. Successfully, he ensured MOU was signed between IMA USA and the Institute of Company Secretaries of India in December 2023. He is the member of the following institutions: Forensic Accounting and Investigation Standards of ICA, which formulated FAIS and guidance note on FAIS. Friends, he is also member of Audit Advisory Board of Indian Audit and Accounts Department, Bengaluru. It is my pride privilege to invite him to take this session for the benefit of all of us. And friends, today, environment, digital platform environment is a buzzword, and we are going to, dealing with a lot of digital, especially digital payments. If you take into consideration, even in the RBI has, in its annual report 2023-24 has reported that 36,075 instances of fraud or occurred in digital payments in India, and it has increased from 13,564 to 36,000 in during the previous year. That means, today we are all at a serious threat of this digital payment mechanism. And even the RBI has reported that the digital payments for internet cards and in online payments is around 29,082, which is amounted to 1,457 crores of frauds occurring in India. So this is a huge amount of the fraud happening in India due to this digital payments, online payments. Even company secretaries are not, exception to this kind of digital payments. Recently, also we have seen a situation where a message has come from the unknown mobile number to a member, our own member, that if you want to redeem the SBI card points, you can click on this. The moment they click, it is asked from OTP, and OTP, once they made, 70,000 is taken away from the bank account of our own member. Just last week it happened. We tried to complain at police station. We went to this cybercrime office. They are very clearly telling you first seize all your bank accounts, you first seize all your block your credit cards, because since they got connected to you, now they may extract more money from you. Then immediately we all blocked all the bank accounts and all the credit cards. This was the situation happened in last week only. And this kind of digital transactions where the people are getting lured, RBI has given multiple notifications regarding this. And there is still this kind of situations are going on. So now we invite Guru Prasad sir. Sir, will please enlighten us about this digital transactions and the frauds occurring, and how we should protect ourselves from this kind of frauds, and we should not be pray for this kind of situations. So thank you very much, sir. Sir, now the time is yours. Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Venkatramana ji, for a lovely introduction of the topic, and also kind introduction of about myself during this presentation. I would like to thank the President and the Central Council members for giving me an opportunity for being part of this wonderful venture called EEE. That's we are further fine-tuning about the knowledge of our institute members, which is very important for us. It's like sharpening the eggs, because basically we need to say that we need to sharpen the eggs regularly, because we are the members of a very lovely governance professional. So we should sharpen our eggs, and we can never stop at that. So I will just start the sharing the screen. Hope the screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible. Friends, any questions are there, please put it in chat box so that we can take up with this sir at the end. Thank you.
Welcome to the digital world, digital environment, and what are the frauds that are possible in the digital environment. Upon completion of this webinar, we will be able to know some of the interesting statistics we have on the digital world. First, we need to set the base for the today's presentation in global context as well as from the Indian context as well. And there are a lot of frauds happening across the globe, across India, across cities, and nobody is exception to that. It's like one more COVID virus type of thing. It's spread across the globe. So it's a virus, in fact, we can say it's also a virus type of thing. Fraud is also like a virus. It's not good, but it's very bad. And there are top 8 cyber attacks we can just discuss briefly, which we as company secretary in the profession, we should know that what are the various type of cyber attacks that we can see in our organization being perpetrated on the companies. What are the various types of fraud that can happen in the digital payment and its type? And last but not the least, how do you mitigate the risk of fraud by managing it successfully? And as we, the company secretary, being the guardian, being the corporate governance professionals, how we can play a role to ensure that risk is managed and mitigated to the maximum extent. We can't completely prevent fraud, but at least we can try to ensure that we have appropriate checks and balance in place. Today is World Environment Day 2024, 5th June 2024, World Environment Day. And Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the host nation. Before we start to dive deep into the program, we'll just have a look at it. Because without planet, nothing is possible with the digital world. So we should come to the real world, then move to the digital world. So this year's theme is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. These are all the things which is being the major objective of this year's World Environment Day. We being ESG professionals also, because nowadays, not that we just stop with the financial metrics, but we also have to look beyond financial metrics in terms of ESG metrics as well. So it is the right time that we again take a vow that we ensure that our environment is protected, planet is protected, people are taken care, and the governance, it is our DNA in itself, in the DNA itself. So governance part, we are already taken care. We have to take care of the environment as professionals, and we also take care of the people as professionals. So with that, we start to the end of the program. Like, we have an interesting statistic here. From the global perspective, as of April 2024, there are 8.1 billion people populated in the world. That is 57.8% are in urban areas. And if you see that 5.65 billion people are using mobile phone across the globe. That is 69.7% of the planet are using mobile phone. That's huge, huge sum. And individuals using the internet is also very high. As high as 5.44 billion people are using the internet for the day-to-day digital activity. It is roughly 67% of the population is being using the internet for their day-to-day work. Social media users, again, we not only use the internet for our official activity, professional activity, business activity, but also use for social activity as well. That is 5.07 billion people in the planet are using the social media, and roughly translate to 62.6% of the population. And if you see the growth over the year of last year, very good example of how we can see how the digital growth is going at a fast pace. We can see that 0.9% of the population has increased compared to last year, 2023. We have added 74 million in the planet as people. And 2.4% increase is there in terms of mobile phone subscribers. That is 133 million people have been the new subscribers over the last year, and compared to 2023 April. Individuals using internet are also gone up by 178 million, and it is roughly 3.4% of the planet. Social media user identities, again, it has doubled actually. 5.4% of the people are using nowadays social media. That is 259 million people have started using social media compared to the last year. So this shows that how pervasive, how rapidly the digital economy is going, digital world is moving at a fast pace. This gives a broad outline of how the digital growth is happening across the world, across the countries. And if you come to the demographics and other key indicators, which is very important, because to understand today's concept, we should need to know that these are the basic statistical, rather we should do a data analytics of these things. If you see the data analytics, we see that the female population is 49.8% and male population is 50.2% across the world. And population density is 62.1. And if you see from the literacy point of view, it is 87% overall compared to the 83.8% female literacy, and male literacy being highest as usual. We know that across the globe, male literacy is always higher, 90.3%, because of various reasons. This way, the ESG gap is being felt. So this is where the ESG plays a vital role. That is, the social aspect has to be taken care by bridging the gap between the female literacy and the male literacy. If you see from the viewpoint of the internet usage, 5.44 billion people we saw are using, individuals are using internet, and roughly translate to 67.1% of the population. And you see, on an average, 6 hours 35 minutes is being spent on an average daily using the internet by each internet user. That means out of 24 hours, only 18 hours is available for other activity. 6 hours is being spent by us. Very huge time we are spending on the internet. So that means we should be even more careful. That this shows me that we should be even more careful in the digital world. And if you see the percentage of users accessing the internet, as we saw, it could be via laptop or to be desktop. 62% are accessing the internet, and mind-boggling number of 96.3% are using internet via mobile phone. That means our mobile phone is the important tool which is being used by the fraudsters. So we should be very careful that mobile phone is also a double-edged sword. It is also enabler of the technology, but it also it is structured in terms of the fraud can happen to anyone, anywhere in the world. And the percentage of urban population as usual is high, 79.9% of the city population are using internet. Whereas as we know, slowly the rural population is picking up. It's not that it's bad. At least 50% of the population are using, rural population are using the internet for their day-to-day activity. We dive down to India's statistics. We see that as on day before yesterday, 1.44 billion, that is on 3rd June, 1.44 billion people are there in India. And India's population increased by 13 million, that is 0.9% between last year and the current year. Again, there is a distortion. 51.6% of the population is male and balance 48.4% is female population. At the start of the January 2024, we see that 36.6% of India's population live in urban areas, 63.6% in rural areas. That is predominantly ours is rural-based economy to some extent because most of the population live in rural areas. Less number of people live in urban areas. And we come to the internet users. 820 million internet users are there in India. Its penetration rate, if you see, it is 52.4% of the total population. Very high. It's not a small number to talk about. So internet users have also increased by 8% year on year. And there is also a fact we should know that 67 million people are not using internet at all at the beginning of the year of 2024. And that means 47.6% roughly of the population, they still remain offline at the beginning of the 2024. As far as the mobile connection is concerned, 1.12 billion people of India are having cellular mobile connection. Many people are also using not only one mobile phone, we also have the situation wherein we are using more than one mobile connection, probably one for personal activity and other for the work-related activity. So it's not unusual to have more than one mobile connection in India. So again, GSMA intelligence number indicate that mobile connections were equivalent to 78% of the population are using internet mobile connections. And again, the mobile connection increased by 23 million, that is 2.1% compared to last year. That means every year we are adding the mobile connection because of the lower cost of the purchase of the item, because most of it based on the India's look for making our own digital, making our own equipment rather than importing from abroad. When we are importing from abroad, we had to spend a lot of money on custom duty and all those things. So now that we are making our own manufacturing, the domestic manufacturing happening in a big phase, Make in India is a key theme of last 2 years, basically. So then it has made a big impact. Today we will have a closer look on how digital payments, technologies, and the payments ecosystem have evolved in India. We can also discuss on the emerging fraud risk faced by the financial service industry and other industries, which underpin the demand for the robust and dynamic fraud risk management. This is very important. We have to ensure that the risk is managed appropriately. So we come across the term fraud. What do we mean by fraud here? We have to look to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, AEPS USA. It says any illegal act characterized by deceit, concealment, or violation of trust. Very important is violation of trust is a key word. These acts are not dependent upon the application of threat, of violence, or of physical force. Frauds are perpetrated by individuals and organizations to obtain money, property, or service, to avoid payment or loss of service, or to secure personal or business advantage. Basically, they get a personal or business advantage by committing fraud on someone else. Let us leave aside the legal definition. This simple definition is, one is there is a violation of trust. Second is that a person is trying to get person or an organization is trying to secure personal or business advantage. That is a major threat of fraud. There are lots of newspaper. If you see any newspaper, you see there are a lot of news items discussing about digital fraud. I will put a couple of things so that we set the context in a better way. Recently, a 66-year-old founder CEO of a software firm lost 2.3 crore in a courier fraud case. Across India, we see this courier fraud is like a menace now. It's threatening us every other day. Some threatening call is coming that you'll be under arrest. By fake Skype police call is being made, and the victim is made to transfer money to them to avoid to avoid the getting arrested. So it has become a menace actually, and every time the police officers also put a lot of message saying that don't fall to this scam, don't get trapped in this scam. If you have any issue, please reach us out so that we'll try to help you out. But unfortunately, human being is sometimes very fragile. It takes things as it is, and it doesn't go for outside help. It tries to solve the problem by itself. In the process, the huge money is lost. 2.3 crore is not a small sum to be lost by a CEO of a software firm. Similarly, again in Bangalore, we saw a journalist. She lost 1.2 crore in FedEx courier scam. The victim received a WhatsApp call from a so-called staff of FedEx courier saying that your name, your courier has come in your name and it contains some banned drugs and Aadhaar number. They call out the name correctly and Aadhaar number. Everything is being available freely on the dark web. So they take this out and then they start calling the people. One disadvantage of Aadhaar number is they're also specifying the mobile number connected to the Aadhaar. It should be better. We should tell the UIDI. So even our company center institute should also say that it will be masked so that one leg of that problem will get solved to some extent. Aadhaar number should not include the full account, what you call it as the mobile number of the person, contact number of the person to whom that Aadhaar is attached. So that is one way we can try to protect our citizens across the India. And she fell to the scam and she lost 1.2 crore because they keep threatening her that she'll be arrested. She will face very bad. Social media will be impacted. Social life will be impacted, etc. And she was threatened. And in fact, she was asked to transfer money. And later on, they told that we'll return you back the money. But it didn't happen. They switched off the mobile phone, switched off the WhatsApp call, etc. So then she found that she has been scammed and she went to the police on a later date. So by the time the damage was already happened. Similarly, a woman lawyer from Bangalore lodged a police complaint saying that she was digitally arrested for 2 days. What do you mean by digital arrest? It means they will not allow you to talk to anyone else. They will threaten you in such a way that you can't even discuss with family and friends. And you'll be almost under mental siege. That means they'll try to manipulate you in such a way that you will not be able to do what you ought to have to do, but you'll be acting according to their tunes. That is very, very dangerous situation. She was digitally arrested for 2 days from April 3rd to April 5th. This happened last month, exactly a month back, when she received a call by a person who posed as a FedEx executive, that is again courier executive. She not only had to lose 14.57 lakhs money, but also she was asked to pose inappropriately before the camera and took recording of the camera and started threatening her that her video will be made public if again she does not pay her another 10 lakhs. So she had no option but to pay it another 10 lakhs. But then she came to know that she has been cheated by these people and she had been taken for a ride. So digital fraud is happening right now under our own cities and our even the educated people are getting impacted by this digital fraud. And as Mr. Venkatamanaji was saying, lots of cyber frauds are happening and registered across the industry, across the country. Nearly 27 lakh complaints have been filed as cyber fraud in this last 1 year itself. And it's increasing by leaps and bounds. And it is getting detected due to enhanced vigil. At least now people are coming open that I have been swindled, I have been cheated by the digital, by way of digital fraud. So 99.5% of the police stations in the country are now well connected to the crime and criminal tracking network system, CCTNS, for the purpose of investigation, data analytics, research, policy making, and providing service to citizens. So they are doing a very wonderful job. The enforcement, the police authorities are doing a lot of mind-boggling work, because if you see the population is growing on the one hand, we see that the population of India is growing, and at the same time there is no corresponding increase in the police authorities' strength. So despite those challenges, they are trying to help the citizens as much as possible. We see a lot of online fraud. We have seen on the left side. I'll share with this PPT. You can go through that. Fraudsters have duped a Pune businessman for 1.2 crores. This happened in May 17, 2024. Instagram ad that was there placed, and 10,000 rupees seed fund was used as a bait to cheat woman 3 crores in online share trading fraud. Cryptocurrency fraud, again, man cheated 38 lakh by woman he met on matrimonial website. So these are some of the online frauds we can come across every day, and we just pass it. Okay, we feel sorry, but we don't take care of that. How to protect ourselves? So that is what today we EEE program we have on that. Top 8 cyber attacks. In addition to an individual being attacked, even the organization are also susceptible to being attacked by the cyber fraudsters. One is phishing attack, that is, you are using deceptive emails, messages, or website to obtain sensitive information. Second is ransomware attack, wherein the software will be designed to encrypt files and demand payment for the service. This I have also personally undergone this ransomware attack, especially cryptocurrency attack happened in the company where I worked a couple of years back. You all know that April's 7th of every month is what generally most of the companies disperse the payroll for the employees. And unfortunately, happened to the month of February. What happened was every one of us, every employee are supposed to give the proof of the investment that they have made for saving for proving that they have invested in tax saving instruments. So the particular day, email had come to the payroll department, wherein the payroll person who was processing the payroll, she opened the mail thinking that it is a mail from employee, genuine employee, but so happened, unfortunately, the mail was sent by a scamster who had had put that malware in that, and the process, that Excel file which was attached was creating a lot of havoc by encrypting all the Excel files in her personal, in the particular network. And then we come to know that there has been an attack, that is a ransomware attack has happened, and that they had asked so much of cryptocurrency to be paid to them. Fortunately, the company was a IT company. Bangalore is, most of the companies are IT based companies. So basically, then we had to remove the particular system from the network system itself, and then with the help of the experts, we could decrypt the whole software and ensure that the machine is up and running. But we didn't pay any malware, whatever the Bitcoin or whatever they wanted, we didn't transfer because we were able to come out of the situation so easily. But every time we may not be lucky, because luckily they had the appropriate tools to decrypt the particular files, etc. And then denial of service, again, overload the system or networking to disturb the normal functioning. We have seen many cases wherein even in Bangladesh, in a bank, they try to do a denial of service attack. Man in the middle attack, SQL injection means exploiting vulnerabilities in the database queries. And through that, you will try to have access unauthorizedly. Cross-site scripting means injecting malicious scripts into website viewed by other users. Zero-day exploits is very important. Attacks which exploits unknown vulnerabilities before the developers can address them. Even before the developers can address a particular situation, even before going live, will try to attack the concerned program itself. So it's a zero-day exploits. Last but not least, is DNS spoofing, wherein it is redirecting the DNS queries to malicious sites for unauthorized access. So there are many attacks, but 8 are the topmost attacks which is happening across the globe. A man was suspected of operating world's largest ever cybercrime botnet. Last week, again, May 24, we saw that that guy, this one, was arrested. Wang used his illicit gain to purchase 21 properties in the United States, China, Singapore, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, and Saint Kitts and Nevis. These are the places wherein he purchased huge property with the help of that cyber crime he committed. He got a lot of money, and it helped him to make a lot of money. So with that, he illegally purchased a lot of properties. So Wang allegedly managed the botnet through 150 dedicated servers. Half of them were leased from US-based online service providers. That means he is taking the finger and then poking the person's eye type of thing. We can say that. That means he is using the tool as a way to make money out of the cyber fraud. We see that digital payment is happening across the globe, especially after the COVID. It has really had increased the digital payments have happened. The last few years, we see that especially after the demonetization in 2016 and the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a major spike in the number of digital payments we are witnessing. Innovation in the payment landscape, regulatory support is also there from the respective governments. Increase in smartphone penetration, which we saw earlier, and cheaper mobile internet access have all played a key role in adoption of digital transaction. But for these enablers like cheaper mobile internet connection, increase in mobile phone, smartphone penetration, etc., the rapid growth would not have happened. And especially the COVID pandemic has hastened the process because we all know that how we had to be confined to home without even going to the office. We are all working from home in a very, very critical situation of from March 2020 to say somewhere in June 2020 type of thing, 21 type of thing. So we all know that how much we all have to pay huge price for the COVID virus. Payment service providers, along with the other new players, also play a vital role in ensuring that additional investment is required, and they are providing enhanced seamless user experience at a competitive price. So if you see the UPI, it stands for Unified Payment Service or Interface, Unified Payment Interface, wherein we are able to make a real-time payment developed by the National Payment Corporation of India. It also facilitates us to interbank, peer-to-peer, P2P, and person-to-merchant transaction. And we know that money can be transferred to anyone, to anywhere in the India, 24/7 using our smartphones. And UPI acts as a bridge between various banks and allows seamless and secure money transfer. That is what UPI is all about. And instead of using the bank account details, we use the virtual payment address. It makes the transaction more secure and easier. And UPI transactions are primarily made through the mobile apps, because as we see, the smartphone are the foundation for the digital payment. So most of us are carrying mobile phone. Even if we don't carry laptop, we carry mobile phones at all times. So that means it's easy for you to enter into transaction, make payments, etc. in a jiffy. And real-time transaction, all these are all real-time transactions. There is no time lag at all. Money is debited and credited instantaneously, making it ideal for the small and large transaction like. This is also a negative point because you can't stop the payment. It just happens instantaneously. So it is a negative as well, because once the process is initiated, nothing can stop it. So very difficult to stop the transaction if fraud happens. So real time is also, in fact, a negative point as well. As Mr. Venkatraman was telling, the Reserve Bank of India in the annual report 21-22 and 23-24 have come up with a mind-boggling volume of frauds happened across India using cards and internet banking system. 34% it was higher at 3,596 frauds as against 2,677 frauds in 1920. That means it's going up and up. The value of fraudulent transaction was in 21-22 was 1.55 billion. That is 20% more than happened in 1920. You see, there's a big surge in terms of volume, in terms of value as well. It's going up and up. It's not a good sign. So we should be very careful of the digital payments as well. So how the fraudulent activity happens? If you see, the digital payment fraud has witnessed a staggering surge. That is, it is recorded 14.57 million rupees has been lost. That is fivefold. It has increased. That is 175 million has been lost in the fiscal year ending March 2024 as per the RBI's annual report. So very, very insightful report. If you get time, please download that and then go through that. You'll be finding that how easily the fraudsters are able to cheat us. We take a lot of care, precautions when you do a physical transaction. But when we do a digital transaction, we think that everything is safe and secure. But there are a lot of loopholes are there, a lot of bottlenecks are there. So we should be very careful to ensure that the fraudulent activities are ensure that we're not taken for a ride. The main reason for that is there are multiple entry points to make payment. It could be social media, it could be e-commerce or services like retail transaction. We hail rides like, for example, Ola, Uber, etc. There are multiple entry points we all have. We have to download lots of mobile apps, mobile smartphones, which becomes an entry point for us, for the fraudsters. Though it is convenient, as we generally say, a knife can be used for cutting a fruit, also harming a person. Same way, the digital technology, the digital enabled payment can help our life, make it simple and easier. But at the same time, it can also make our life miserable as well. As we saw, huge amount of crores of rupees being lost with the help of the digital payment being made. Vulnerabilities in the new payment technology, as we all know, the vulnerability is very high because we should be careful of what the system is capable of doing it. Due to the expanding digitalization of the business, because of the growing competition, the payment industry has come with a lot of multiple payment options, because as Mr. Venkatramanaji was saying, there are multiple platforms to make payment for the customers. So we should only look at those payment platform which got a robust, protection, etc., which help us to ensure that appropriate infrastructure is in place and we are not vulnerable to various attacks. Further, risk of cyber attacks has been increasing significantly due to more data records, both personal and financial information being stored digitally. This is why the Personal Digital Data Protection Act has come into act in India. Rules are yet to be notified, but the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, DPDP Act, is going to help to some extent. And it's a big responsibility again, as and when the rules are promulgated, we have to be very careful as professionals, as company secretaries. We also have to protect the personal data of the employees, personal data, if any, of the our customers, etc. And all the financial information have to be appropriately, securely stored. And not only that, we also have the risk of employees working remotely. We will not know how the employees, their network will be. So that is also a threat for us. That is one of the reasons why there was a surge in the lots of fraud during the remote working when it happened in during the COVID times. There was also surge in the digital fraud happening across the globe, because same robust security you will not have in the home, which you have in, for example, it could be the proper controls in place will be had in the office than at the home. Always it is vulnerable to fraud being perpetrated on the company itself. And relaxed preparedness of the new digital age. That is, there are multiple new age digital native startups. So they will not be having necessary resources to handle the much needed security aspect. They'll be more concentrating on, because they start their work on a different platform. They will not be also looking into how that the platform is robust, secure, so that the end customers will not have any impact on their day-to-day work. But unfortunately, that is a big threat for all of us. Frauds in any country are driven by multiple factors, such as local payment behavior, customer awareness, security of payment system, regulatory environment, maturity of the payment domain, and so much of costs or the technical advancement, and how much the country has developed. All these things are very, very vital as far as the digital payment is concerned. Not only that, there is also a risk of customer awareness. That is a major problem which every day we are all facing, because customers should be very careful as to what they are dealing, how they are dealing, etc. Who's the biggest threat? Not the technology, but the human being is the biggest threat for any best control system in place, be it internal control or cyber control. People who are manning the particular system are the biggest threat. So that means we should be even more careful, that we should have adequate training should be given to our employees, so that they should know what are the things to look at, what are things not to look at. And there are many instances wherein phishing attacks takes place. If an environment, if a mail comes from outsider, there should be a line saying that, a caution saying that this mail is coming from outside. Please hover that address, because people think that if a mail comes from an MD, it is actually from the MD only or from the top person. But the person email might have been hacked by someone else, and a different email may be used, and this mail, the mail of the MD may be masqueraded or put as a mask to be in front of that, and with that they will try to commit fraud. I'll come to one same instance which happened in our own company as well as in many companies we have come across. We are very careful with what we do. So what happened was, a mail had come from so-called mail from the director had come to the employee saying that he's in a meeting, so urgently lakhs of rupees have to be transferred, few lakhs of rupees have to be transferred, and he will explain once the meeting is over. He'll explain that please send it urgently, immediately. Then we all have undergone the training program multiple times to see to it that such type of fraud, when a person is trying to make it fast, when a person is making you impatient to execute it fast, that is the first red flag. You should be very, very careful. So then what he did, he immediately messaged to the concerned director saying that I have received a email from you. Is it a fact that you are in a meeting? That first thing he asked. Then as soon as he saw the mail message, he sent back, the director sent a message, no, I'm not in a meeting. You can call me at any time. Then that gave the clue that this is a fraudulent email. So then he didn't act upon that. So it's be very careful in all cases. And as I said earlier, unsecured remote access is one of the major pain. Though we are happy that 24/7 we can work, we can take the work to home also and make the life easier because we can complete the work on time. But that is also a threat because due to unsecured remote access, as I said earlier, people can get caught in the digital fraud when the vulnerability is exposed. That means your malware or anything can attack if the system is not protected properly. So very important that we should take care of that. So fraudulent activity is preventable only if we take adequate care. And as we saw, the volume of fraud has increased by 51.51 lakh during March 2024 compared to 11.5 lakh in the previous 6-month period. So this is the RBI's mind-boggling report. And there is also a possibility that because a lot of affected victims are reporting their frauds, instead of keeping quiet, there is also a surge. One is that they might not know how to report it. Now, people are also aware that yes, if something goes wrong, we can report back to the concerned authorities so that at least they'll take some action on that. What are the various types of frauds which happens commonly across India, across the globe? One could be the common fraud type like identity theft, impersonation, phishing and vishing attack, web skimming, botnet attack, fake QR code, social engineering, account takeover, remote access assistance, synthetic fraud, deepfake. These two are a thing I'm going to actually spend more time on these two frauds. This is the latest fraud is happening. Frauds with advent of 5G technology. It's like a big laundry list only. So much of fraud can happen. Its list is growing. It's not going to end. And as well as the payment fraud are different types: Aadhaar-enabled payment system fraud, net banking, ATMs, point of sale machines fraud, mobile banking fraud, frauds related to near-field communication technology, cryptocurrency fraud, investment scam, and wallet scams. So this means the list is not going to end. That means the fraudsters are having a separate laboratory or R&D department to keep on, inventing new frauds. That means our role as professionals, as company secretary, is going up. As fraud preventers, is going up. As any professional, be company secretary, chartered accountant, or cost and management accountant, our roles are going up. In addition to taking care of the corporate, what do you call it, as the financials, and the growth of the company's output, etc., we also have to ensure that company is not impacted by fraud. In fact, the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners USA, where I'm also a member, it comes out with a beautiful report to the nation, and it is called as Occupational Fraud 2024 report to the nation. In that, we find that every company, it is estimated that it lose 5% of its revenue each year to fraud only. That means out of 100 rupees you earn, 5 rupees you have to set aside for getting impacted by fraud. So that is the minimum threshold limit we should have. I don't want every company to set aside 5% provision. Let be less than that, but it's a huge amount. 5% is not a small thing to earn. So that means fraudsters are always up and running, so they know how to exploit the vulnerabilities and then they try to make use of the loopholes. Identity theft or impersonation means fraudsters acquire users' personal information, that is your PAN, Aadhaar card, etc., or social media credentials, or even critical information about the bank account to gain access and initiate online payment. Or they also open a payment account to execute the transaction. This is all happening on real life basis, not something theoretical, but it's all happening on a real time basis. And in fact, you'll be surprised to know that these things are not done by a graduate, somebody, even a person who is not a graduate, they are now learning the skill of how to commit these type of frauds. Personal data of customer is made available on the dark web. That is the main point we all have to be very careful about, because you know that on every day you get some call or other from asking whether you want a personal loan, whether you want to give her a charity, somebody is having some problem, and you have to as a philanthropist, you should give some money for this charitable work, etc. And it keeps coming every other day. Despite you try to block the call, you see that the call keeps coming repeatedly. There is no other choice. So personal data of customers is made available freely on the dark web. It's available for a song. That means for a low price. Our mobile number is being with name are being sold left, right, center. And it enables the fraudsters to carry out this type of fraud. There have been multiple incidents in India involving banks, payment banks, etc., and other fintechs wherein victims of identity theft have reported and that the personal details have been used by fraudsters to perform fraudulent transaction, including availing of credit card facility, etc. So this is a very, very significant problem we're all facing. Fraudsters may also impersonate as an authorized official. For example, they could say they are calling from a bank or they are a police official and or other user trusted accounts, etc., and manipulate the user into transferring. This is what happened in the case of our FedEx courier scam. That means they are not police officers, they are not from crime department, but they pose or they act as they are actors basically. They act in such a way that the person who receives the call believes that, oh, I'm in a very, very bad situation, that I have been caught. So I should come out of the situation unharmingly. So this is what everybody thinks. They are put under tremendous pressure, not even to discuss with others. That is where they make use of the vulnerability of the human being. So this is a very, very dangerous situation. What do you mean by phishing and vishing attack? As the adoption of digital transactions are happening more and more, there has been an increase in the number of phishing and vishing attacks. Fraudsters execute vishing by posing as a customer service executive from bank. We would have seen that I'm calling from so-and-so bank, and they will try to convince you that they want to update the KYC norm, or they want to keep the account active. Your account is not being operated for a long time. Can I help you out? So please share your full account number, your IFSC code. You have that, what do you call it as, you show me you also share the debit card number, etc. All these things, they keep on asking question after question and try to get the elicit the information from you. And also they also try to get the OTP from you that they want to reset the account number, make the account regularize, etc. And you'll be surprised to see that even the police officers who have been in service for a long time lost to this scam, the vishing attack. That means they try to say that they're calling from the bank, but they're not calling from the bank at all. No bank will ask for any OTP. No bank will bank employee will ask for the basic data, because they all have everything on their own. Their data only. These fraudsters are trying to act as if they are from the bank. So that is the major problem. So in one of the case, a couple of years back, again, I would say that a police officer lost this huge money, which he just retired a couple of days ago. But because of the vishing attack, some people came to know that he's having huge money in his bank account, his gratuity, etc. And they made him, to reveal all the data, sensitive data, and in the process they took all the money from him. So later on, he realized that he has been scammed. Being a police officer, he felt very ashamed that how I can be so careless, how I can just like that, believe a person that is calling from the bank. So then he had no choice, but he lost money. So to some extent only they were able to retrieve the money. So vishing attack is also very, very dangerous. Web skimming is a hacking technique wherein the fraudsters install malicious software on the payment gateway or on the checkout page of an application. and obtain confidential payment information. For instance, we see a lot of e-commerce website employ third-party application. This paves way for fraudsters to install malicious code into the trusted third-party host site. So this means they can take out all the data from you, such as credit card number, CVV number, expiry date, etc., can be easily taken out, and this becomes a major headache. Data, again, we see that a botnet attack is one more thing where we are under severe threat. In the sense, fraudsters inject malicious software, also known called as bots, into a group of computers and all linked together to launch coordinated botnet attack. It means this allows fraudsters to gain access to users' device, override their existing security methods to record their sensitive information. Later, this information is used to conduct fraudulent activity. Again, we have problem like ATM point of sale machines. By using personal data obtained via remote access or skimming services installed at the ATM or the point of sale machine, the fraudsters execute transaction from the user's account. That means when you go to ATM, I always tell that first when you enter the ATM, please press the cancel button so that whatever the transaction that has happened previously will all get cancelled, nullified. And also just put your hand on the right side, you see that the card will be inserted in the slot. Please put your hand on that and try to see that if you find any attachment to that. Sometimes what happens, they attach some machines to read your password, etc. So be careful that you just ensure that it's not tampered with. That's very important point. When those things are taken care, to some extent, you are preventing the fraud from being happening. So fraudsters always use these type of skimming machines or items which can read out your data. Then the fraudster can execute the transaction in the user's account. Fraudsters may also claim false chargeback cards, etc. And it is perpetrated normally at ATMs by using skimming and unauthorized access. So very important that please be careful. After you complete your transaction in the ATM, please again press the cancel button. Also press the ATM pin which you have put in. Don't press that number. Other than that, you try to put all those, because when you put the finger on the number, the thermal heat of that particular thing gets absorbed to some extent in that particular thing. So you just try to randomly put all the numbers other than your number, so that you get confused. The person fraudster, if he's hiding behind your back and trying to come after you go out, may try to get caught or get cheated by being careful. Again, Aadhaar enabled a payment system fraud. Lots of fraud are happening because it's another mode of payment wherein customers are using Aadhaar for identification at a business correspondent equipped with biometrics in order to perform cash withdrawals. So corrupt business correspondents can withdraw more than the amount that has been requested without providing a receipt and siphon off the excess amount. So fraudsters can also clone the fingerprint of customers and withdraw money from the Aadhaar-enabled payment system. That's why there's one more preventing method is to please block your digital biometric data. You can block it. So you can use that Aadhaar, go to the Aadhaar website and block your ID, digital ID as well. That is your fingerprint, etc. can be blocked so that it cannot be used by anyone else. Again, internet banking, we see commonly login credentials being obtained through various fraudulent methods like phishing or remote access. Fraudsters execute illegitimate internet banking transaction. Again, internet banking, we have seen that it's impacting a lot of people. Cryptocurrency fraud, with increasing public interest around cryptocurrency, we can only expect that this currency will also be susceptible to malicious attack. According to a report released by the Federal Trade Commission USA, scam in crypto are seeing exponential rise in the United States, with loss around $80 million, which is 10 times that of the previous year. That means the most common and emerging cryptocurrency fraud can be: one is investment scam, second is wallet scam. With little knowledge of digital currency market, we are not very familiar with the blockchain technology, etc. If that is the case, how we can be so familiar with the digital currencies like blocks, digital currencies which are being used in blockchain like Bitcoin, etc. And users or investors should be very careful to believe the authenticity of the cryptocurrency. And new types of coins are also being introduced every day and released in the market as an initial coin offering. So fraudsters are creating a lot of fake websites, draw the investors to these currencies to promise substantial returns. As more and more investment keep coming up, it inflates the value of the currency, and the investors pull their holdings, and it is termed as rug pull. Once the scammers' money has been pulled out, the platform is taken down, leaving the investors no option but to sell their asset. That means here, the cryptocurrency has no underlying asset. The basic thing is all the cryptocurrency, private cryptocurrency, are not having any underlying asset below that asset. Unlike your regular currency, it is not having the digital currency is not having any underlying asset like gold or something backed up by security. It's only demand and the price supply, demand and the supply determine the price of the particular cryptocurrency. So unlike your hard currency. So very important that the people will get fooled by saying that you get a lot of money if you invest in cryptocurrency. We see that many news items again coming, unfortunate item coming saying that so and so had called me by WhatsApp and he told me to invest in this cryptocurrency. And what they do, they say a website, fake website, and they show that the price of the investment has gone up. They have a what do you call it as softwares which can show an artificially increased price, and they feel that my money has gone by many bounds of money. I'm going to get huge return. But what happens actually? There is a fake website. They don't know it's a real thing. It's not at all there. But they feel that they are deceived or cheated, saying that the money has grown by so much X percentage. Money has gone up. But actually, it's all demo software which is being utilized and linked to the concerned WhatsApp message. And once the person wants to withdraw the money, they will force the person to invest more money in that. They say that on some products, that some income taxes to be paid, some custom duty has to be paid, etc., to draw the money, because you can't, otherwise you cannot draw. They'll ask them to invest more money to withdraw their own money. So then again, that money also it's like a vicious cycle. To get back your money, you have to pay further money for that. So then what happens? The money which you have invested is already gone, and you are also forced to pay more money for getting back your money. Then later on, when they have transferred the money, now the fraudulent person who is running this scam will immediately know that, this guy started asking me money. I should not allow him to do any transaction further. So he'll immediately block the WhatsApp call itself. We block the number. Even if you try, you're not able to reach him out. So that means you have been scammed. So this is very, very dangerous situation. You lose not only money, what you invested earlier, but you want to take out your money back. Again, you are also forced to pay money. Then it becomes a big issue. Wallet scam means there are two types of wallet scam. One is known as storage of money online, offline. So one is called as hot wallet, another is called cold wallet. The hot wallet are susceptible to potential phishing scam, whereas cold wallet are susceptible to loss of currency when the storage device is lost or the password is lost and it is forgotten. So these are the many types of fraud happening across the payment sector. So if you see among the frauds involving cryptocurrency, how it is used, again, ACP has come out a very beautiful chart. 47% of the money is used converting the misappropriate asset into cryptocurrency. Suppose somebody makes a lot of money from you, they don't keep the money in hard currency form, they convert it immediately to cryptocurrency. And 33% really the bribery or kickback is made nowadays in cryptocurrency only. A misappropriation of organizational asset, that is cryptocurrency asset, is being held is 29%. And again, if the money is laundered, and the process of money laundered is being paid through cryptocurrency only. And manipulation of reported cryptocurrency on financial statement is 22%. And balance any of the thing is 6%. So 47% of the money is being now converted into cryptocurrency because it is easy to transfer for them, for the fraudsters, and it leaves less audit trail. Come to the next very important topic for the day is deepfake fraud. It's again, it's because of the technological wonder, these things are happening. But at the same time, we should be very careful of what these things can be impacting all of us. Deepfakes are used using artificial intelligence method called deep learning. It means here, AI is the important technology behind the deepfake. Basically, it relies on complex computer system called deep neural network, and it is based on our biological brains, how the brain reacts. That is same thing here also. AI also does more or less in the same fashion. Deep learning also understands how the human being behave, and it is simulated in the deepfake also. Deepfakes are videos or audio recordings that have been manipulated to make it appear as if someone is actually saying something or doing something they never actually said or did. That means somebody is impersonating digitally someone. It is not a real thing. So many frauds are happening across the globe using this deepfake. In fact, you could have seen Obama was one of the key thing wherein the deepfake fraud was used to impersonate Obama, the past president of the USA. Similarly, deepfakes can be used to commit fraud in a variety of ways, such as impersonating a celebrity to endorse a product or service, or creating fake videos of someone committing a crime. We have just seen that deepfake actor based in India has been impacted by the deepfake, which has been acknowledged even by the Prime Minister, that AI is being used by the fraudsters to misrepresent an actor, and no, this is not a good sign, and it has to be curbed, and all the countries across the globe should join in this fraud that has been impacting across the globe. They doctor the footage and they hijack the account. Basically, there's a problem. In the recent case, a Toronto man is out of $12,000 after falling victim to a deepfake cryptocurrency scam. It appeared to look as if he's talking to a Canadian Prime Minister, Justin, and he was endorsing something. So he thought that, well, if the Prime Minister is endorsing something, it should be good. Later on, it was found that it is a manipulated video by AI using AI technology and voice cloning. And here, the Canadian Prime Minister appeared to say that we have developed an investment platform that we believe can help every Canadian safeguard their financial future, even in the periods of inflation. So he thought that the voice is exactly of the Canadian Prime Minister, but it's so legitimate, it was so perfect, and you will definitely be get carried away that it should be him only. It's not deep fake. However, when he contacted the website which recommended the YouTube video, he says that you have to invest $250. When he was looking at it, the investment was keep going up on the screen. But as I said earlier, he could not take the money out. It turned out that the amount he has invested was a scam, and he was trying to take back the $12,000. He lost the full amount. So how maliciously the account has been hacked, and the users are being made to go through the falsehood. So that means the deepfake is very, very dangerous situation. So be very careful of this deepfake technology that can impact any one of us, and it's so easy to get caught in the trap. So how do we spot and detect a deepfake? To some extent, we see that there are a lot of glitches will happen or abnormalities in the movement. So suppose, for example, the handshake or the hand movement will not be so natural and be so artificial. So you should be very careful of the speech or the appearance that appears on the screen. And there will be a lot of inconsistencies in the previous recording or the photograph of the person. Something will be blurred or something like that. You should be very careful that if that is the case, something is trying to be manipulated from outside. And the video or audio source may be from a suspicious or unknown source. These are some of the protocols or some of the precautions you have to take to ensure that the glitches doesn't happen. So everybody's ripped off their lifetime savings because they want to make money at a short notice. But what happens here is money is lost at a very fast notice than earned. That is, money is lost quickly than the money is being earned. Similarly, there are instances of the Prime Minister of Singapore again is warned that somebody is trying to deepfake the videos of him to promote investment scams, etc. So in Facebook post during December 29, Prime Minister of Singapore said that a deepfake video circulating online, which appears that he is advocating for a cryptocurrency scheme in an interview to a Beijing news channel. That means the scammers are using AI to mimic our voice and image. They transform real footage of us taken from the official event and try to convincingly, completely bogus video asking us to say something which I never said. That means they're saying, do not respond to such scam video. Next is synthetic ID fraud. So synthetic ID theft is again very mind-boggling thing. This is a type of fraud in which criminals create new identity. By collecting the data of your personal security information, name, date of birth, your PAN number or Aadhaar number, etc., or social security number, and they'll combine them with a false identity. That means a new person is created out of so many data with this available easily online. With that, they create, open a bank account, obtain credit cards, loans, etc. being obtained, and unemployment benefit also happens. Launder money or commit other crimes. In one case, it was reported in one of the in the fintech programs conference I attended. There was a case wherein the security of a IT company based in Bangalore used to collect all the mobile phone application, of the concerned employees before they enter into the office. They're supposed to deposit the mobile phone at the entrance and for safe custody. Once they complete the work, they can take back the mobile phone when they go out of the home, when they go back to home, as a part of security measure. So that security who was in charge, he had noted that an employee's the pattern, drawing pattern, and he used that drawing pattern. He opened that mobile phone and he took that. He copied the Aadhaar number and other things which was stored in the mobile, and he got a loan out of that. As if that concerned employee has taken loan. It was a personal loan. So he sent all the documents. But I don't know how bank can process such payment. But unfortunately, the bank had transferred the loan to this person's account. And later on, when the employee, after some time, when she got a notice when he got a call from the bank saying that you have taken personal loan, but you have not paid the EMI after this cooling period, holiday period, why you didn't pay? She was shocked. She never took any loan from the bank, and she said, "How what? I've never taken any loan from you. I've never met you, but you say that I got a loan." Later on, case was handed over to the cyber department, and they found that the mobile phone of the person has been misutilized by the security person who was supposed to keep it safely. He had seen that employee how she draws the pattern of that his mobile to unlock, but then it was too late. Then only few thousands were available in the bank account. He was caught, but it was a big shock for everyone. So that means a person can make money out of you without even your knowledge. Growth of crime as a service, that is very important. Easy to access online generated AI tools is now helping the scammers to reshape the fraud ecosystem. AI is assisting criminals in committing deepfake and spoofing attack faster and a broader scale. Now, AI is hastening the whole process. If the attacks succeed, they can multiply in volume and are shared among crime networks over the dark web. That means once they succeed in synthetic fraud or online crime using the ChatGPT, etc., and other tools, it is easy for the fraudsters because they need not spend much time because already someone has done a lot of work for them. It is like going to a supermarket and then they are using that supermarket as a tool, that is AI as a tool, and do whatever fraud, online fraud they can commit, they can easily do it using the deepfake and spoofing attack. In Hong Kong recently, on February 2024, a couple of months back, a British multinational design and engineering company was the victim of that fraud happened to it. One of the Hong Kong employees paid $25 million to fraudsters. What happened was here, the company called as London-based Arrow told CNN that it notified Hong Kong police about the fraud incident and confirmed that the fake voice and images were used. Here, the finance department employee had thought that he is talking to the director of that particular company, and he had transferred the money thinking that he's talking to a real person. Actually, it was though it was a virtual meeting, he was not talking to the real person, but he was talking to a digital person, artificial deepfake person, and based on the instruction, he had transferred $25 million to the fraudster. So it had a big impact. That means nowadays, now you are also be very careful when you have a virtual meeting. Ensure that it is adequately safeguarded, protected, and also ensure that it is not a fake virtual meeting, etc. Reconfirm, reconfirm, reconfirm. Trust and verify. Now, there are many media scenarios are there. I will tell top 10 synthetic media scenarios for financial harm. How and all we can get attacked. One is identity theft, which I already told you, either through voice cloning or face swap video. They are easily able to impersonate you, incorporate an officer, corporate officer, etc., and gain access to a database. That is first thing. It could be individuals. Next is imposter scam, wherein the voice cloning or face swap video can impersonate you as a trusted government official or a family member of the victim, and they can coerce you to fraudulent payment. Either they say that they are in a, sometimes, especially the people who are retired at home, like parents or who are at home, they should be very careful that somebody can call or clone the voice of the or granddaughter saying that I met with an accident, I want the money to be transferred immediately, type of thing. They can clone the voice of the kids and then they can ask the grandparents to pay the money. There are some instances wherein the grandfather, because of their age and they are not able to distinguish between a fraudulent payment, fraudster's payment, and a genuine payment. They will be out of emotion, thinking that the grandson have met with the accident. They can these people, the scamsters, can take the money out of the family, ask the concerned grandfather or grandmother, granddad to transfer the money to the concerned person and the bank account, and they can, without the knowledge of us when we are in office, these things can happen. So be very careful that is not only applicable for the professional firm or company, but even a family has to be protected by the laws, which can happen not only to us, but there is also a weak link of human being involved. As I said earlier, even our old age people who are at home may also be susceptible to attack, like this fraudulent payment. So be very careful of that. Cyber extortion, again, we should be very careful with the kids, especially after the COVID. Many students are started using mobile phone incessantly. In any family, if you go, you can see that the youngsters are not playing nowadays outside. Very rarely we see kids playing outside. When we were young, we used to be outside than in the home. Now, it is the other way around. Kids are spending most of the time in the digital world only than in the virtual world than the real world. So that means it's not a good sign. They could also be cyber extortion can happen. They can be threatened. And in one case, what happened recently, a child was threatened, saying that you are seeing some unwanted videos. I've seen you, I have tracked you. So unless you, that means his friends have actually done it. Little elder people, of elder age, have threatened the kid that if you have to keep quiet, you have to give us some money. So that kid, unfortunately, didn't know how to complain to the parent because he was afraid of his parents may scold him. So he had transferred the money. He had given the money, whatever he could lay hand in the house without the knowledge of the parents. He has given the money. So these people keep on Once they saw that this guy is weak and vulnerable, he started applying a lot of pressure on that fellow to bring more money and get even jewels, etc. The guy had no choice but to, he took the jewels from the family, this one, and then he gave it to all those guys, and those guys pawned off, kept in the with the pawnbroker and took money also from that. Later now we come to know about was when there was a function in the family. It's a real life situation, real life case, wherein the parents wanted to go to a function. They want to wear that jewelry. They found that jewels were not there in the box; it was missing. They know for sure that only 3 or 4 of the members in the family are accessing that particular safe locker. And incidentally, this guy also was. They know that this guy would have been the culprit. So then, when they confronted it, what happened? Where is the jewel? I will not do anything. We know that we will protect you, but tell the fact whether you have taken the jewelry or not. After a lot of this one, he cried, saying that, "No, ma, I'm sorry. I took the jewel, and this is what had happened." Then, when it was reported, when they confronted with the parents and also reported to the police, saying that this particular thing has happened, then the police, in their own way, investigated. In their own way, they brought the truth from those people, the elder, what you call as the friends who are of the elder age. And they came to know that this guy has been forced to take the jewelry out of the family's safe box, and then they have pledged that jewels and made money out of that jewel, the money that has been pledged. Later on, that was retrieved by the police authorities, and cyber extortion is the real life situation is happening. So let's be very careful with the kids also, so that if they have any problem, they should report us, tell us that what has happened, rather than hiding the fact. This is the synthetic media scenario as well as it's impacting the financial harm. Again, as companies, there is a lot of payment fraud can happen, stock manipulation via fabricated event can happen, via bots can happen, malicious bank run can happen. These are the 4 broad scenarios in which the company can be impacted by fraud, either by voice cloning or face swap video, as said earlier, to impersonate a corporate officer to initiate a fraudulent transaction. Again, voice cloning or face swap video to defame a corporate leader, or falsify a product endorsement which that never has been endorsed by the celebrity, or even alter the investor sentiment. Again, this is a very critical area for company secretaries. And again, synthetic photos and texts are used basically to construct human-like social media bots, which either attacks the brand or promotes a brand, which can alter the investor's perception of the company itself. So it's very, very dangerous situation. Again, malicious bank run. Synthetic photo and text are used to construct human social media bots which spread false information about the bank weakness, which can again make that the bank is running out of cash. So that means the bank is going to be closed down, etc. They can make this type of false information to bring down the collapse, bring down the bank itself. So this can happen at any time. Voice cloning or face swap is again used to fabricate a market moving event, as if that market is crashing, as if the market is going up, etc. These are all the scenarios that can happen in terms of the digital fraud. Lastly, we have also regulatory implications like voice cloning can be used to fabricate imminent interest rate change or policy shift or enforcement action, as if the government is going to act like this. Again, it may be a fraudulent event. Astroturfing means the fabrication comments of the public on proposed financial regulations which can manipulate the rule-making processes. They try to manipulate as if this is going to be a new structure is going to come. So deepfake voice phishing, fabricated private remarks, synthetic social botnet, broadcast, narrowcast, all the different types of synthetic media scenarios that we are going to witness. It's not it's happening. It's going to happen. It's not going to stop. So we should be very careful of these things. To repeat this, an individual can be a target, the company can be a target, market can be a target, even regulatory authority may be a target by the synthetic media. Only it's question of time and when. Otherwise, you'll have identity theft, imposter scam, cyber extortion, payment fraud, stock manipulation via fabricated event as if the event has happened, stock manipulation via bots, malicious bank run, malicious flash crash, etc. can all happen in your own period. Come to the last leg of the presentation, the fraud risk management framework. What is our role here? How do we ensure that we can take care of the company, the family, etc.? We should integrate the people, policy, process, and technology together for a more effective, agile, and dynamic fraud response. Fraud cannot be completely eliminated, but fraud can always be reduced. We cannot completely eliminate. It can never happen. It's only we can reduce that. How do we do that? We should have in terms of people, if you see, we should have a dedicated fraud control unit. That is the first step we should have in a company. That means you should have a dedicated fraud control unit who will be responsible for ensuring that the different types of fraud that can happen in this company and how do we come out of that. And next is the employee awareness and training is very, very fundamental thing, because the people aspect emphasizes the importance of human aspect in the operation and implementation of the robust fraud risk management. Without people, nothing can work. As far as process aspect is concerned, the tone at the top, which means the commitment of the top management towards the robust process management, it will enable strong anti-fraud response by setting up strategies, policies, and procedures. If the tone at the top is very weak, then nothing can work. So process is important. That is again the fraud risk governance is only because of the tone at the top. The technology aspect plays a key role in implementation of strong fraud risk management because you have to select the right technology and right tool for fraud prevention and detection. And on a real-time basis, not take your own time to come back to upgrade your technology. That means you are always behind the fraudsters' motives. The end-to-end fraud risk management response of any company must balance customers' experience with fraud control priority. If a company is impacted, then the customer is also impacted. And also the employees are impacted very badly. Managing fraud risk improves the customer experience. The audit committee and the board of directors should have sufficient and excellent oversight of the management anti-fraud programs and controls. The personnel in the company should respond in timely and appropriate manner to ensure that the significant control deficiencies are addressed to. Allegation or concerns of fraud are taken care, and violation of the code of conduct or ethics are dealt with very strongly. Again, risk assessment is a very important process. If you do a proper risk assessment, it's become easy for you to control the whole activity. So risk assessment is a very vital point. It is important for every company to assess the likelihood and impact and mitigate the various risks in the business, product or service. There are many risks like business risk, customer risk, product and service risk, technology risk, channel risk, and employee-related risk. All these things will have to be continuously monitored and taken care by the top management. Every new product should undergo fraud risk vulnerability assessment, VAPT, that is we call it as vulnerability assessment. Penetrative testing should always be there to ensure that your network is strong, your cyber security is adequately taken care. Fraud risk associated with new digital account opening service should be assessed before giving a go-ahead. Regular fraud risk assessment is required to understand what are the various type of program we have, how we can mitigate the emerging threats, and how to implement the various methods to ensure that we are safe and secure. Overall, the fraud mitigation risk should help the companies to identify, prevent, detect, and respond to fraud risk. That means we have to first identify what are the various type of risks. We just saw that what are the various type of fraud that can. First, you have to identify what can happen. Next, we have to see how we can prevent that. Third, if it has happened, it is post facto, it has happened, we have to detect it. And then we have to take appropriate response for that to the fraud risk. So this will help the organization to reduce the overall cost of managing fraud risk. That means we should have a formal and regular scheduled procedure to perform fraud risk assessment, assess the design and how the operative controls or anti-fraud controls are in place, and how to ensure that it is validated and updated on a regular basis. Similarly, we can also have fraud simulation testing is another method generally used by most of the firms, which is a proactive measure to assess the process and systems vulnerability to fraud risk. We should create a fraud scenario, artificial scenario, and simulate on the actual basis to ensure that your employees are well aware of what can happen and how to prevent such type of frauds, how to detect them, etc. Next very important point is you should have advanced analytics, which helps ensure that you use the digital data in a better manner. Like, for example, with the help of behavior analytics or data of the known frauds, customer behavior risk, transaction profile, etc., can be translated into scenarios so that you can monitor the risk effectively by reducing the response time. That means the advanced analytics here, you create a lab type of scenario wherein each of us are put to test. If this happens, how will you react? If this fraud happens, how will you react? That means you are proactively, you are getting yourself ready for a situation which cannot happen, which need not happen, which should not happen, but your organization is ready to go through the process in a live environment so that there is no panic, there is no body to get impacted in a real-time basis. That means you are already mentally prepared. You are already prepared for the challenge. Like for a cricket player playing simulated match before starting the cricket match, like a net practice, etc. You are doing a practice that you are ensuring that your company is safe from all aspects. Real-time monitoring using AI/ML is a very, very important thing because AI-enabled technology is now playing a very good role. We have rules and scenarios are driven by analytics. It plays a crucial role, proactive identification of risk and mitigation real-time basis based on the seamless transaction. Whether the fraud monitoring tool implemented is used to detect financial stress across the channels, is it operating appropriately is all important. Again, multi-factor authentication, biometrics also plays a vital role in terms of ensuring the technology is used in the best possible manner. Especially payment card and industry and data security standard, PCI DSS is very important thing. Again, payment application data security standard. These are some of the standards we should go through and ensure that our company is compliant with these standards as well. So that means people, process and technology play a vital role. People become the basic role because they are the weakest link. So you have adequate fraud control unit and you have a lot of awareness program for the training and of the employees. Not only that, even the customers of ours have to be trained that what can go wrong, how we can prevent such things can impacting your customers as well. So here, basically, you should enlighten the customer and make them aware of the new digital payment channel that you're using. And you should also give them how they can use it safely and give information about the various frauds that can happen, such as phishing, remote access, etc., by being used by criminals to gain fraudulent access to payment and sensitive information about yours. Such training and customer awareness will help the people to understand how the ongoing security concerns in the payment ecosystem are happening, how to minimize the fraud risk by staying alert. That is very important. We have to stay alert. There is no second thought about that. It is also important that customers read the agreement and agree to the terms and conditions before using any payment product. This is also critical for the company's territories. That means the customer should be given an agreement saying that if you agree to these terms and conditions only, you should use this payment product. And if you don't agree to the condition, you cannot use our product. This is very important. And by and large, we have seen that many companies, many customers just without even going through the terms and conditions, because it will be of 100 pages or more than that, they'll just tick that box and then say that I agree. Most of us do that. We don't have the patience to read that till the end. But if something happens, then the customers will have to pay a big price because a lot of denials, a lot of disclaimers in that terms and agreement saying that if you don't do this, we will not be responsible. If you don't do this, you will not be responsible. So then the customer is feel that he has been cheated by the company. But fact is that he only blindly ticked that checkbox and he paid a big price for that. So you should be very careful of that. Whistleblowing mechanism is very important as a part of the process, as I said earlier, because most of the frauds are coming out by the tip only. That is, if somebody tells that something has happened badly, something going wrong, then most of that comes out only by whistleblowing mechanism. Nearly 40% of the fraud are coming out only by the whistleblowing mechanism. You should have appropriate system in place to ensure that such whistleblown complaint are taken care by the company in all seriousness, and appropriate action is being taken on the complaint that has been lodged through the channel, and it is not just sidelined or it's not ignored. So that is very important. And as professionals, most of us of our company secretaries are also doing a lot of internal audit. So if you see that internal auditors are the most important people in any company, they're the next topmost people to identify any fraud in the company. So if you compare the report, the fraud comes mainly out of the tip, nearly 45%. Next, nearly 35% of the fraud are being identified by the internal auditors only in the company, because they know the process, they know the people. They try to link the people, policy, process, and technology. When all the four come together, they find out what can go wrong in this transaction. When they find that there is something wrong in this transaction, means a fraud, so then they can easily, effectively find out the fraud. So as company secretaries, we should be careful that we keep that people in mind, the points of people in mind, the process in mind, and the technology in mind, because we can't go with the technology. We have to upgrade ourselves, upskill ourselves by understanding, talking to the people in the IT department, not the income tax department, but information technology department. Attending a lot of programs are being conducted by our institute on AI, ML, etc. Even see institute is also now taken up AI in a big way. Please, webinars, etc. We can upgrade ourselves. Every day is a learning day. Every minute is a learning minute for us, because this is where we can play a major role as professionals, because the society expects us to be vigilant. Society expects us to be careful. Society expects us to be the beacon or the lime or the lighthouse. We should show what could go wrong. We should show what can happen. So we are to be one edge above the others, not professionals. So thereby we command respect rather than demand respect. So technology, we need to upgrade ourselves as much as possible. We need to be writing code, etc. Even that coding can be done by nowadays by ChatGPT. So let's not worry about that. Let not be a black box for us. Let us understand the concept. Let us understand what could go wrong. Let us understand how we can address those fraudulent activities and proactively work with the concerned department, team, etc. If need be, we can have in-house, call the in-house training program with the experts, and ensure that the fraud risk management framework is robust, appropriate to the size and nature of the business. With that, after completing this webinar, the key takeaways were we had interesting statistics on the digital world, global and India. We saw a lot of frauds, especially online frauds have happened, which had scammed many people who are even well qualified in a bigger set of the society. For a CEO, getting impacted by 2 crore fraud is not a small thing, because you will not just like that give away the money. But that means fraudsters are very brilliant. We should also be super brilliant than these people. And we also saw what are the top 8 cyber attacks that can happen in terms of the companies working itself. So very important that we should know that there's always a possibility of the company being impacted by various type of cyber attacks. Like for instance, to recall, phishing attack, ransomware attack, denial of service attack, zero-day pay exploit, DNS spoofing, SQL injection, and so forth. So man-in-the-middle attack, etc., are the top 8 cyber attacks that can happen to anyone, any company, any organization, big or small. And we also saw there are lots of frauds in digital payments that can happen to any company, anyone, individuals, top people, etc. And like especially the social engineering, fake QR code. That means a QR code will be sent to us through a WhatsApp, but it may be a fake QR code which may not be actually correct. So we should be very careful of who is sending that. We need to check that, double check that, and then initiate the payment, especially long payment. One more thing I always say in our some of the certificate course we have on forensic audit, etc., in our institute, wherein we should have one it's a very beautiful concept as MCA. MCA, we are familiar with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, but again, there is one more MCA which we should be aware is maker, checker, approver. We should have for all significant transaction with that be a maker, and the maker's work should be verified by a checker, and the checker's work should, both of these people work should be validated by the approver. Only
So you can switch on the camera, sir.
Things should happen. Then digital fraud management, we also saw that how the digital fraud management can impact all of us, and how the company secretaries play a vital role. With this, we come to the question and answer session. Thank you so much for the patient hearing. With that,
thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, you can switch on your camera, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, thank you so much for wonderful presentation, sir. There are few queries. I will read by one. There we have received some of the queries from the members. So I'm going to take up one by one, sir. The first one is, which are the means of data protection to be enabled in view of Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023?
See, the rules have yet to come. Basically, the personal identifier information, especially for the employees, are the major threat for any company. So that when an employee joins, there are certain methodology have to be followed. It has to be appropriately kept in a digital form with adequate password protection, etc., and stored in secure location. That is first one. What happens if the company employee leaves? That is the next question that comes. Here, the Digital Data Protection Act says that if an employee leaves and if he says that he cannot no longer use my my data after some time, you cannot use it, then you have to delete the data once for all. You cannot even keep a copy of that. That is one thing that has come out of the DPDP Act. So that we have to see the rules here to be framed. Once the rule frames, our roles also increases. At the moment, the Act only says that if the concerned person whose personal data has been given, if he says that he has the right to say that it has been deleted or removed from the record of the organization, it has to be done. But only in cases where the Act is clear that if there are some instances like because of the legal requirement, the person's personal data has to be safeguarded for some years, then it has to be kept for that particular. For example, in case of we see that the Income Tax Act says that, even Companies Act says that up to 8 years you have to keep the past years records. Beyond that, if there is any case is going on in the company, you have to keep beyond that also. It's not necessary that you should immediately delete it. But the rules are very clear that if the person says that my data is I'm no longer having connection with you, the data has to be deleted, means it has to be deleted. That is the thing that has come in. We'll see as the rules comes, we'll fine tune that.
Fine, sir. Fine, sir. The next one is frauds against individuals often come through a mobile number. I have received a call claiming money due to me against a lapsed insurance policy of a company from whom I have never availed any service. When challenged, the callers are present and confident that nothing will happen to them. Banks are fined for KYC lapses. Then why not on telecoms?
Basically, you are not dealt with the person in person. So basically, we are all used to having transaction. Before the digital era, we used to go to the bank, we used to go to the insurance company and have face-to-face interaction with the concerned employees of the company. So we are very confident that if the person is asking a thing to come, it's come. Nowadays, world is becoming very, very increasingly digital world. They are also outsourced. Most of them are outsourced. Services are outsourced. If you have a doubt on any call, you can directly reach out to the concerned manager or the concerned person. Physically go and meet him. You take a time off and then go and meet him. This is the fact. So always we should trust but verify. That is the thing. As professionals, I always tell in any forums, we trust the people, but at the same time, we have the responsibility to verify whether it is a fact or not. Even if it's so very important, cross check. That's what I did.
Fine, sir. And then another question is there, sir. Would sancharsati.gov.in help to reduce this menace?
Exactly. This is the reason why, because of these, the initiative taken by the government is also not keeping quiet. It is also putting a lot of apps to ensure that this, at least they, for data purpose, for analytic purpose, they take your information and then try to help you out. In fact, a couple of days back, there was an incident again happened in Bangalore, because I'm living in Bangalore. I can immediately tell you certain information immediately. A person had transferred money due to fraudulently transferred the money, but immediately that period is called as golden hour. You should be very careful. That golden hour is very important, not lose it. Immediately call the concerned helpline, go to the cybersecurity thing. They can immediately stop the damage to some extent. It's not that they can completely retrieve and give you back the entire money. At least they can block the money that is going from your bank account to another person's bank account. So the golden hour is very important.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Even I have come across, sir, one thing that, 1552660 is a Ministry of Home Affairs, a Union Home Ministry has launched this last year cyber crime, which says that if anybody has by chance lost their money through mobile transaction by giving OTP or something like that, you can dial at 1552660. It is a central government operated number. Once you make it, actually what happens is the time till the transaction from the server of your banker to the receiver's bankers it reaches, it takes some time. Correct. So during that time, if you can make this call 1552660, all the communications will go to enter banking channels and all, so that the money may not get credited to the account of the receiver and it may come back to you if you can do it. I think that's a useful thing, sir.
Yeah. National Cybercrime Helpline number is 1930. Much simpler to understand. 1930 is the National Cybercrime Helpline.
Okay, sir. So this kind of information is very useful for
definitely. And the government also looks at the pattern of from where this, for example, Jamtara is one famous area in India where lots of online frauds are happening.
Okay, sir. Another question is there: are biometric attendance machines are safer way, or some mobile attendance apps which requires fingerprints or face scanning are only for updating? Any major issues, concerns will be there with this kind of apps?
One is that you see, basically, if it is a physical machine that is kept in the office, to some extent safe. But mobile apps, to some extent, we have to see what type. That's what I told in my presentation also. We know what type of third-party software is being used by the particular mobile app. So then you're always vulnerable to, if there is any vulnerability or they're not updated the security of that particular software, then you're always vulnerable for that. Yeah. So be very careful, do a lot of due diligence, and don't feel that it is coming free of cost or it is giving at low price. There is always a big scope for you getting caught. So always on a regular and a later date. So if money is also more, go for a premium product, then go for a free product. If something is free, means product is also coming free of cost to you.
Okay, sir. Another question is there, sir. The company secretary is in receipt of a fraud mail containing a letter stating that some unknown person is authorized to conduct any financial deal on behalf of the company. And such letter is a fraudulent letter that is known. And a trademark and stamps also, signatures also forged the signature of company secretary. After some investigation, company found that this mail has been received from an IP address originated from Hamina, some other Kemenlasko, a town in Finland.
Oh my God.
This kind of spam mails and letters, even though police complaint is launched, will it be useful, sir? And how to know about where from this fraud is happening?
There are two dimensions to it, sir. One, when there are also some problems are happening. For example, I could say couple of months back, again in many parts of Bangalore, there are email that has come from a different location where VPN network, virtual private network, is one more problem this enforcement officer facing. In the sense, the police authorities are facing. They're not able to. They can go to some extent. They can trace to that particular individual's place where he's located, but the VPN people, they are not divulging whose connection is it, who has sent this email from where. So they are bound by their own regulations. So it's a big threat or menace for the common man. So government is trying its best to have some sort of protocol with the concerned governments to ensure that they're also giving the information about the person who sent such mails.
Yeah. The next thing is, sir, is there any possibility that company's interest will be safeguarded if they make disclaimer on website or make a public release on these kind of issues?
See, first thing is, first line of defense is we have to, disclaimer will not help. You should have adequate security audit being done on a regular basis. That is the first thing. Because you have to prove to the regulatory authorities saying that, for instance, if it is a listed company and somebody has hacked your system, you are supposed to report back to the regulatory authorities. When the regulatory authorities come and visit your premises, you should have a proof to say that I have trained my employees. The recent training is, these are the dates I have trained and this is the topic I have trained them. This is the first line of defense. Second, I also installed the security, IT security audit I have carried out with the help of CISA or whatever who have done. Those people have done it. I have done VAPT assessment also, vulnerability assessment, penetrative testing I have done. I have done from my side whatever is possible I have done. So you have to demonstrate that. Once you demonstrate and then after that, still after all your efforts, things have happened, that means it's only a misfortune. But without doing anything, you cannot put a disclaimer. That is sorry. Nobody will accept that. You have to do your homework.
Okay. And another one, sir, in this case of situations, when bank paid the money on the other person who is impersonating account holder, normally the loss will be initially happens to the sender, but whether this loss can be reimbursed by the bank or cybercrime department to the account holder, what kind of recovery mechanism can happen?
See, basically, one is that since somebody has initiated what is fraud? Basically, somebody is trying to take personal advantage of you by cheating you. That is the first thing of fraud that I discussed earlier. So when somebody has done the fraud and you have identified that the fraud has happened without your knowledge and you are done by this one, so immediately you have to report to the bank. Bank will try to do its best to reverse the transaction or retrieve the transaction as much as possible. But as I said, the golden is very important. You cannot complain after 1 day or 24 hours. By the time the money doesn't, as I told in one of the slides, the money once it transfers gets converted into cryptocurrency. They don't keep it in money form only. Okay. There is one more medium for them. They convert into cryptocurrency. It's a Bitcoin or something else, Ethereum, etc. And the money is getting transferred in a swift way. So it will be very difficult to track it. Sir. That is the first thing. Okay. And they use VPN, dark web, etc. are being used. They don't leave the audit trail like they are not doing business with you. Basically, they are trying to take the money out as fast as possible from you. And once you are victimized, you are gone. So then the golden hour is very important. So within the reasonable time, if you are able to complain to the bank will definitely, that bank doesn't want the customer to lose money. No bank will like the customer to get impacted because the reputation of the bank is at stake. The bank also putting a lot of checks and balance. But as I have been telling repeatedly, trust but verify. Don't do any transaction in a hurry, especially you have a maker, checker, approver if it is a personal transaction. Suppose doing a larger transaction relating to your family, I would request you keep your spouse also along with you.
Okay.
If it is a very significant amount, because there is always a scope that you will not be doing in a hurry because someone is there to check, put you in a check. So very important. Higher transaction don't do alone at home when you are in a stress.
Fine, sir. Sir, another question is there, sir. Another one too. Whether making police complaint help to find out the fraudsters or fraud from where these fraud mails are coming or fraud is happening. whether it is from foreign countries or Indian countries, India.
Very good question, sir. As I said earlier, our police are very sophisticated nowadays. They are also being trained across India. That's why you are able to see some of the cases wherein the retrieval and catching of the culprits are also happening. In fact, in Bangalore, we could see that many instances wherein they have gone to North State, and then they are bringing the culprit, identifying the culprit, taking the help of the local police, and they are getting arrested. But unfortunately, there is no corresponding punishment. Is not so severe in India. They are let out on sometime. They are held up and put in jail, and it takes a long time for no punishment to be awarded. By the time they come out of bail, again they start doing the same activity. So now only way out is there is no choice but to across the globe. This is the problem. What happens here is they take it as a financial crime, as not a big crime at all, and no, the punishment is very lenient or not so severe, which deters the person not to do it at all in lifetime. So something has severe to become like what we have in other parts of the globe, like Middle East, etc., should come here also. That it should serve as a lesson. For if I commit an online fraud or offline fraud, I will get impacted very badly. I'll be punished very badly. That is the thing is required nowadays. Otherwise, being soft with them doesn't work.
Even in one of the situations, sir, I just want to share with all
Please,
of
sir.
you. One of the situation, one of my another professional friend had got some mail call from the customs saying that customs department, we got some drugs and some other material which is not
Illegal.
acceptable, and for this you will be called and all. So immediately he rushed and given the complaint in the police office. They told to block first all your account. This is a completely fake call. No, customs authorities never make a call. They will directly visit with warrant and all. And they said that even sir, if you make a complaint, we cannot catch them only because of the reason that these frauds are happening from small countries where we don't have any multilateral agreement with Indian government to make them catch. So even if they go to that country, police complaint, even they are telling that their local police will not support us. So
Correct.
it is better don't get away from all these things. Don't get any anxiety or this thing.
Correct.
You be careful yourself. Even if you give police complaint, we cannot do anything going into that country.
Correct. But please reach out to police authorities. Don't feel shy of that, because that is a humble request I put, because the police authorities should come to know that yes, there is something is happening, so that it becomes on record also as well.
Yes. Sir, one last question is there, sir.
Yes, sir.
If a deep fake of a director is created and he attends a board meeting in a virtual meeting,
Okay.
how do you find out?
That's what there are certain techniques for there. We have to do a forensic only. We have to see that. Suppose here I am talking to Venkatramanji in live, so I can easily make out his the gestures, human gestures, which is very familiar. But in the case of deepfake, certain things will be very artificial. Like for example, if the movement of the hand is, instead of you can just see my hand going like this. No, it's a normal process, but it will be a little different when it is a deepfake. So you have to study how the eyes move, how the lips move. All those things are all synchronization of the lips, and then the winking of the eyes. Everything is important. So when we talk to some person, certain things will be very natural. As a human being, we can easily find out. You do not be expert in that, but just by seeing how he nods, how he moves his head, all these things will give you a very good clue whether you're talking to an imposter, deepfake, or you're passing to a real person. So it only comes by experience as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Even nowadays, people are using a masked Aadhaar card. Only last 4 digits they will keep.
Correct.
And all other things, masked Aadhaar card, they can use it to hide their.
And one fact, I would request Venkatramanji, if you could reach out to UIDI, please tell that the phone number, mobile number which is available just below our card should be blocked or masked, so that these fraudsters cannot make advantage of that.
Yes, sir. Sir, at the outset, there are no further questions, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. All your inputs are having given in-depth knowledge about how the cyber crimes happens, what is the role of company secretary. what kind of frauds are in news today, and what are digital attacks, especially the companies has to take care, and where we are risk of some of the company secretaries also risk officers, so they are getting enlightened about these topics, how the frauds are happening. And of course, frauds in digital payments is everybody's concern now, even our own professional members, company secretaries. And you have given a lot of inputs, sir, like web skimming and fake QR code, the synthetic fraud, what are the different kinds of things happening, and which has given the, in-depth knowledge on the subject, how company secretary should, take care of his personal interest as well as his company's interest, and what precautions they should take. This has given really insightful knowledge about the subject, and your, experience and your thoroughness in the subject has given a lot of value to this session. Thank you very much, sir, once again for your wonderful session. And ICSI will be keep looking, to connect with you. And friends, this Triple E web series webinar is going to continue. It was even very effectively conducted in last year when Manish Gupta ji was the president, and our Narsimhan sir also and Vice President Dhananjay Shukla sir also were very keen that this Triple E program should continue forever, so that our people get knowledge, and also awareness about various topics, not only our 4 areas of practice, but general awareness and general knowledge is also very important for a professional. So I hope this session has given a insightful subject knowledge for all of you, and even for me also. And we are going to continue this kind of sessions in future. Be connected with ICSI and be connected with ICSI all the programs. And thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending this program.
And please ensure that your family members, especially elders, are also being enlightened on these things. Even youngsters are also, millennials make a lot of mistakes because they are always in a hurry to do something. Please inform the youngsters also to be careful when they live in the digital world, because they also can make mistakes. So it is not only applicable